Welcome to Devs Talk Live. I'm Zena, Keita, joined here by Warriors reporter Dalton Johnson. We are here at the Gatehouse where the Warriors took down the Sacramento Kings for the second time in 4 days. I mean, they've gotten to know each other quite a bit in the last few times that they've met up against each other. 102-101. Came down to the buzzer. This was a battle from jump ball to the buzzers to the last seconds on the clock. You just wrote, literally just wrote about Klay Thompson and that last second buzzer. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think it's great to get a win like this.
Yeah.
When you look at having a 28-point blowout win just 2 nights ago, and then you come back home, this wild schedule where they're on the road, home for 1 game, and then finish it off like this where Klay Thompson was not having the best game. But look at this right here on Davion Mitchell. Keegan Murray on him. Draymond Green grabs him, and they love it. That is why they're all together. They have the trust with each other, right? Klay Thompson, again, not his strongest start of the game. 14 points, the only two that matter were the final 2, sinking it and sending the Sacramento Kings home on a tough bus ride back up north.
How beautiful is it that that shot was supposed to be for Steph Curry, but he was getting slathered on defense, and Klay Thompson was able to come up at the top of the key and take that shot. That is probably the biggest storyline of the Warriors this season, of just having capable shooters, capable scorers, just capability coming off of that bench or coming throughout that entire roster. Big shot, Killer Klay was the person to do it this time, but they've got a full roster full of them.
They sure do, and again, this has been such a strong start for Steph Curry, where it's nice to get a win where he doesn't need to go nuclear.
Right.
You want to see others step up. Klay Thompson, sure, he didn't have some big 30-point game, but he knows that he can make that kind of shot when it matters most. You have Dario Saric steps up. You have Chris Paul and Draymond Green's basketball IQ on full display tonight. So it's one of those wins that I think in the long run matters more than a 28-point win against the Pelicans. It's a win like this that you want to see a team get down, get gritty. A team, like you said, the Kings know each other so well. The Kings were without De'Aaron Fox. Steve Kerr called this a trap game going into the night, and it looked like a trap game all night long until those final few seconds.
Well, let's hear from Big Shot, Killer Klay, and what he had to say about the game and that big shot.
Where's Rocco, by the way?
Oh, he's great. Guy's 11 and a half years old. So every day with Rocco's a blessing. That's a fact.
There you go.
Yep.
2 questions. One, you made a couple of big plays. Obviously,
3 block shots? Wow.
people are going to talk about the shot, but what about the block and that led to that 24-second clock violation? How big was that, and how did you make that happen, actually?
It was a big play. It didn't allow them to get a shot up on the rim and a possible offensive rebound. But, it was big just be able for us to draw something up. And, I didn't shoot the ball as well as I wanted tonight, but I stuck with it defensively, and I think that's why I was able to hit that shot there at the end.
What was the thought process that led to that shot?
I realized we didn't have much time, so I just wanted to take a couple hard dribbles, get to my spot, and rise up. And luckily, I made a good move with confidence and knocked it down. And that's what being a basketball player is all about, is just doing things with great confidence.
Speaking of confidence, being able to finish the game the way you did that it all give you a boost in confidence? You came in talking and texting a little bit more active than I usually see you come into the press conference. How are you feeling
after
that game?
Anytime you hit a great game winner, you're going to feel on cloud 9. And if someone isn't, they're just lying to you. So I feel amazing. I obviously could have played better, but at the end of the day, it's a great win, and I feel just wonderful.
Klay, Draymond took a couple minutes just to talk about his thoughts on your guys' roster construction and your depth. Just what do you think of the balance that this team has?
I think our young players have made incredible strides, and I think even our rookies are ready to play, whether it be Trace Jackson or Brandon Podziemski. JK and Moses have made that jump this year where they can be trusted in tight situations. And we have a deep, deep team. Dario hit some huge shots tonight. He was great for us. And for Chris Paul to be as unselfish as he is and head the second unit, it's just sky's the limit for this team. I really believe that.
Steve has previously said, it's going to take a couple months, for Draymond to get back and everything to gel together. Do you think that this is coming together quicker than anticipated, or?
I hope so. I still don't want to jinx it. We got a big road trip coming up, but I think we can. Great start to the year. We didn't win our first game. That was nasty, but to respond the way we have shows what we're about, and it's a great first 5 games. We're not satisfied. We're looking forward to having a great road trip coming up, kind of flipping the narrative of not being able to win on the road this year, and hopefully be back to the road warriors we are.
Draymond, just before you, was asked to compare this year's chemistry to last year's team's chemistry.
Yeah.
He described last year as awful and that it was hard to come to work.
Yeah.
This year, he described, in effect, as quite the opposite. I guess, as a leader on this team, how would you assess this year's chemistry compared to last?
I mean, I think every year is great. We're in the NBA, and you get to go to put shots up and play defense for a living. I don't even pay too much mind to that. I think, obviously, chemistry is great this year, but every time I put a Warriors uniform on, I'm gloating because it's just like it's a dream come true. No matter how many years you play, the NBA is a place where dreams are, like, met, and I think this year's great chemistry-wise, but last year was good as well, and I think just every time you step into an NBA facility, getting to go to work, I feel great. So I don't think too much about chemistry. I think everything, winning solves all.
Winning solves all. That's quite the statement. And you can kind of tell that Klay Thompson's a little bit tired of being asked that question. But it is true. The chemistry is clicking this year. And as he mentioned, we don't want to jinx it. No one wants to jinx it, particularly the Warriors team. But there is something to be said about the sky is the limit for this team, as he mentioned. Let's talk a little bit about the starters, because Draymond is back in the mix, and tonight he showed up for the team, being able to be that defensive back line and really holding it down for the starters. They were in the plus column versus the bench was in the minus column to start out the first half. What did you make of the way that the starters showed up tonight?
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes to show what can win games in different ways. So I think it was great for the starters to come out strong. The bench helped them out for sure in a handful of ways. You look at the scoring of Dario Saric, the assist by Chris Paul, no turnovers again from him tonight. And then the starters. It was a game where there wasn't one big-time, standout by any means. Right. It's not like Steph went out for 42. So it was one of those wins where all that matters was those final 3.5 minutes where you saw the closing lineup, where Chris Paul's part of that closing lineup, where Kevon Looney is for a little bit, but then GP2 is part of it as well. So I think that the depth continues to shine. The starters had their run early on. The bench helped out. Then the starters were who you needed at the very end. So the depth is really what has been the story of the season so far after only 5 games.
Well, I know out of all the starters, there's probably one particular person that the Warriors were extremely excited to see really kind of find their step, and that was Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, of course, started the season with kind of a lukewarm start, not really scoring at will in the way that we've seen him be able to do that, not being able to capitalize on his strength in the post and attacking the basket. And tonight, he completely started out differently. Where did you see the difference in his game tonight?
Yeah, he had some good attack early on. Right here, look at this. That's what I really like. It's finding him off of a cut, coming down low into the post, and him just right here again, going to the basket, playing downhill. So I would say it was a good, not great game from Andrew Wiggins. You're still looking for that consistency from him.
Sure.
Where the first game that the Warriors played against the Kings, he only scored 11 points all game. At halftime, he was at 12. But only finishes with 14. So again, it's getting a full 4 quarters of Wiggins where they only played him 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. So the minutes distribution continues to be a little bit up and down. Steve Kerr is going to say it's going to be about matchup-based, hot hand, offense and defense. Gary Payton II, for the closing lineup, was the hot hand because he's better on Malik Monk. But I'm still looking for that full 4-quarter game from Andrew Wiggins where, hey, great, I want to see 12 points at halftime, but I don't want to only see then 2 points in the second half. It's not only about the point totals for him, but the rebounds as well. He had only 2 rebounds tonight. Yeah. Now in 3 out of the 5 games this season, he's had 2 rebounds or fewer.
Yeah.
So again, when I look at Andrew Wiggins, when I look at just the box score, a lot tells me a lot. The rebounds do, the second half. So I still want to see a full 4-quarter game from Andrew Wiggins because the Warriors are so much better when Wiggins is on that 4-quarter consistent A-game, two-way Wiggs.
When you think about what Andrew Wiggins was able to provide for the Warriors in that championship run, it was those stats that aren't necessarily offensively productive, right? Those rebounds, just being able to get into passing lanes, being able to keep the ball alive. Now, talking about passing lanes, talking about defense, talking about rebounds, you got to talk Draymond Green. And knowing that he is still coming back and still getting his conditioning underneath him, you saw him, again, make a step in that productive direction and being able to make a difference on this team.
You sure did, especially offensively early on. Look at this. We're looking at Draymond right now, where the Warriors, hey, he made his first 2 3-pointers. And I love to point out, when he is making his 3-pointers, it says so much about the Warriors offense. That number one, yeah, he's going to be open for those corner 3-pointers, but he needs to be willing to let them fly.
Right.
To not be second guessing that. And even if he misses, which he did on his third one, I'm okay with it. I want to see Draymond shoot those open shots. The Warriors now are 125 and 24 all time when Draymond Green makes multiple 3-pointers in a game. It's a heck of a stat. And it goes to show, again, when he's making his shots, you know that the Warriors offense usually is humming. And they only had 102 points tonight, so it's not like they had an offensive flurry, but when he's feeling confident, when he's playing with that extra gear, you know it's good things usually for Golden State.
They talked about this in Warriors Post-Game Live, and exactly what you're mentioning. When Draymond is making those type of shots, that's exactly what I like the way you put it. The offense is humming, right? That rhythm is going, the ball is moving, the things are swinging around the court, it's touching side to side, and that's exactly what the Warriors need to be able to have that. Now, starters were going, and it's mainly because there was someone that dropped 41 against the Sacramento Kings last time. 21. All right, let's shave 20 off of that. But Steph had a quiet game, but he also was clutch. Because when you think about what even set up Klay Thompson to be able to make that last second play, it was because Steph Curry got the ball, dribbled down the middle of the floor, and got an easy bucket in the middle. And so when you think about what he was able to do, despite being, quote, quiet at 21 points this game, what was the impact that he had, even though it was a quieter night for him?
It was a gravity kind of impact, right? Where I'm starting to write, okay, this is how Steph's going to have a game winner, even though it's not the biggest game for him. But we know Davion Mitchell's usually very physical with Steph Curry. And yeah, his 3-point shot wasn't there right away, but Steph only needs to make one shot to get things going. And he still was playing downhill, getting to the bucket when it mattered most. But I like that you bring up the sequence that led to the Klay Thompson game winner, because it's Steph doing this right here, but then also Klay Thompson playing great defense on Harrison Barnes and forcing a shot clock violation. So it was, you look at the tandem of guys who are the Splash Brothers. They're supposed to just be on fire always, make the 3-pointers, and they got it done in the other ways in the final minute right there to get a win when you really needed to, when the A game wasn't there. It might have been a B, C game, but when you get wins like that, it carries over, especially when you're going back on the road for a 4-game set.
And when Steph's chewing on that mouth guard like that, you know he's focused. You know he's dialed in. We're going to talk about the bench and how they supported the starters tonight right after the break. Don't go anywhere. I love it. I'm with it. YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Also, I just want to shout out, there's a person that always joins us from Manila.
It's always so cool to see the countries.
What? It is really cool, but this person's like solidly on there.
I love that.
And I appreciate the Philippines. I mean, I don't know. There's like a crazy stat that I know about. Of the audience that the Golden State Warriors has, like 70% of their fans are like in the Philippines, like, or something like some crazy stat like that. So shout out to the love that is always shown in the Philippines. But
they have great international fans. Their social does a great job with getting into international reach too. So it's a worldwide brand.
They do. I also love Draymond.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
Love Draymond. Draymond is a good one. I love Killer Klay
That's
as
right,
well.
yeah.
Lots
The
of
words
good,
flow a little
lots
bit.
of good like nicknames coming out of this
Yeah.
game. And you know what's so crazy is that it's a 102-101. You didn't expect them to be this close to
Yeah.
the Kings.
Yeah.
And yet when you're able to pull a game like this out, it almost means, I don't know, does it mean more to you? Do you think?
I completely think so. It's essentially a getaway game. I mean,
Yeah.
this schedule right now is super weird. I mean, Steve Kerr said it even felt like a road game as far as their tiredness, their legs. I mean, they're heavy right now. And now it's, okay, back to the road to OKC tomorrow. So this was not going to be an easy one. De'Aaron Fox or no De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, no. It's been a lot of fun to just see them be able to pull out these tough games, because that was probably the thing that fans struggled with, was being able to see them get to these games that they should have won and not walk away with the win. Tonight they did. Hey. We're back on Dubs Talk Live talking about the 102-101 win of the Warriors over the Kings. And we can thank this group right here, looking at the Warriors bench tonight versus Sac. Particularly look at those numbers with Saric and Kuminga. 15, 12. I saw Dario Saric warming up today. Oh, he didn't miss a shot. I mean, the three-pointer was on point, and I told Festus, I was like, he's gonna have a night tonight. I don't like to hype myself up that way in the sense that I'm like such a scout, but it was just ringing for him. And Festus saw him in the hallway after the fact, and he told him, she saw your shot and she knew you were gonna be on. He was like, I appreciate that. I'm telling you, he was dialed in tonight. And the fact that he had those threes and was able to get those buckets is huge for him, considering, there's some buckets that he gives up on the other end. So this was a great contribution.
Well, especially because the past few games, the past 3 games, Dario Saric only scored 15 total points. Tonight, 15 points. And the funny thing is, he actually missed his first 2 3-pointers, but then it made his next 3, and it was super timely. He made back-to-back with about a 2-minute span in the third quarter. First one makes it a 1-point game. Next one ties it up. Then hits a big one early in the fourth quarter. So it was the timeliness of Dario Saric. I mean, this was the type of player that they so badly needed these past few seasons, and who they wanted and coveted in the offseason. Dario Saric was at the very top of their free agency board, and this is why. Chris Paul, he assisted him on both of those third quarter 3-pointers. The chemistry is so clear between the two of those guys. But when you have a big man who can stretch the floor like Dario Saric, it is such an added benefit. You think about Nemanja Bjelica, you think about Otto Porter Jr., and then even the passing skills that David West has shown in the past too. So talking with coaches, talking with players, they see Dario as this combination of a handful of past Warriors that have really culminated into what this roster just badly needs.
How beautiful it is to be a point guard at the top of the key, going off of a screen, and when you go and you're trying to find something, you can look back and see a post that's looking at the basket, ready to shoot, spotted up. That is such a gift that it isn't common throughout the league. And so when you have someone like that to be able to capitalize on, you definitely want to take advantage of. And there's another forward on this team that's also starting to spread his game a little bit more, and that is Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga sat out last game, and there was a little concern. He had a knee contusion. Saw him warming up before the game, and he looked strong. He looked precise, and his movements looked precise. And tonight, that's exactly what you saw, just of his ability to attack the basket. I absolutely love that one take to the basket that they ended up challenging. I appreciate the trust that they're showing in Kuminga and his abilities and what he can provide to this team.
Yeah, it's the different ways that he was able to score tonight. You talk about him going downhill. We saw a 3-pointer that he made where it was very fluid, very in flow of the offense. But I really liked where they tried to do a zone defense. The Sacramento Kings did.
Yes.
And they beat it the first time with Kuminga actually making a bit of a fadeaway jumper. If he can have that fadeaway jumper in the paint for him, it is a very, very nice added bonus for him, because we know how he can get to the basket so easily. He should be able to be a free throw fiend because, again, he's so athletic. He's so explosive.
Yes.
Right? So, but it's
the
secondary ways of him scoring that are going to stand out for JK. It's making the inflow of the offense 3-pointer, not forcing the 3-pointer, but hey, if you're going to challenge me and say, go ahead, shoot that wide open 3-pointer, I'm going to show you I can make it. And And then when the offense is kind of stalled, kind of stagnant, I got this mid-range jumper I can come out with too. So 4 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range. I love to see the efficiency that Jonathan Kuminga continues to display offensively.
There's that third-year leap. We keep talking about it, that growth, that maturity that you're seeing him, and again, scoring within the rhythm of the offense when it's humming, right? Oh, God, I just love that word. This makes me, yes, humming offense is what you need, exactly what you need. Well, the Warriors are about to go on the road, and there's going to be more Sacramento Kings-like teams that are going to match up against them with a point to prove. So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about what is facing them on the road when we come back. What's up, YouTube? We got Bahamas in the house too.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay.
this
I
is
see
crazy.
Bahamas.
Like, shout out on a random Wednesday.
Right, yeah.
We got the world delegation showing up. I absolutely love this. I just really want to continue talking about Jonathan Kuminga because even seeing him today when he was warming up, he does, a little bit of one-on-one game with a coach to start, and we had to say, save it for the game. Everything he does is so hard. And like you said, explosive. He is so tenacious in the way that he attacks. And it's really cool to think that he could potentially become a significant go-to scorer for the team. Yeah. Can you
Oh, no, he can't.
I can see that.
He can get a 20-point scoring game easily.
Yes.
And in a hurry, where all of a sudden you look up and you go, oh, Kuminga's got 20.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and it might be in 15 minutes, 14 minutes. So again, that's where when the offense is stagnant, when it's stalled, to have that weapon in your back pocket is huge with Kuminga, and that's why I like seeing the secondary scoring so much. Where if he's shooting 7 3-pointers a game right now, you don't need that. Mm-hmm. But I think that even last year, him shooting 37% from three-point range was probably very undersold. We probably didn't talk about it enough.
That's a great point, yeah.
And now I think about him being more of a three-point threat. You think about him almost like a Joel Embiid, but way more explosive, where he can give that pump fake and drive by you now. That's what I want to start seeing, the evolution of JK's game.
Yeah, I love that he now realizes he doesn't have to shoot a 3 in order to get a bucket. Mm-hmm. He could just go at somebody.
Sure can.
Big for a lot of reasons for us to get over the hump and get this dub. He made another mid-ranger when the game was tied a couple minutes earlier. So for him, it's just a good. There's always high confidence he's going to impact the game, shooting the basketball. As long as he's taking good shots and the ball's moving, we like the law of averages with him for sure. And it was a huge shot. He seemed in rhythm. Once he caught the ball, knew what he was trying to do, and big shot for us, for him. It's a weird game in between 2 road trips, so our energy was kind of all over the place, and for him to seal it, for us was huge.
Steph, over here. So far, the non-Steph minutes have been in pretty good hands, it seems. Does that make it easier for you in a way?
I mean, winning any part of the game is great for me, great for the whole team, for sure. So, the sample size as we go through the year with the different lineups that we throw out there, we talked about a lot. CP's helped us so much in terms of organizing us, and that, especially in that second unit, and gives us. Not only are they, I talked about not only they're protecting leads, like they're building on it, and usually our starting lineup is kind of the showpiece on plus minus and all that, and I think we're a little behind pace, and they've done a great job of, especially on the road, like those have been huge kind of momentum killers for us in the past, and they've been doing an amazing job.
I know we've talked about CP a lot and the depth of this team, but as those moves are being made, Saric and even the draft choices, did you see or did you talk to Dunleavy or the front office? Like, that there was a theme here, that there was something they were trying to get to with all those guys?
I mean, there was a check-in before the trade, but other than that, nobody needs to hold his hand doing his job. It's just, he passed the baton from Bob, who did an amazing job for over a decade, and we've had some kind of ups and downs with that over the years with developing guys and bringing the right combination of vets and young guys in. And I think we talked about it at the beginning of or end of the summer, beginning of training camp. Like the pieces kind of on paper look like they fit a little better, and getting the depth and the experience that we have. There's a nice blend of everything, and we have a long season left to continue to prove it and go out and execute. But you can tell there's a big difference just with the way that we're playing right now.
And now this is who the Warriors have to face in the next few days. They're going back on the road. First up, going up against OKC for the first game of the in-season tournament, the long-awaited in-season tournament. Then going to Cleveland and Detroit again. Those three teams right there, even before they go face the Denver Nuggets, teams that want to prove something, teams that were on the cusp of playoffs last year, teams that are trying to make themselves contenders. I think that the Warriors are definitely going to see some really top-tier A games coming out of this, and they're going to have some tough wins to get on the road.
Yeah, I'm super can't wait for OKC Thunder this year because they're no longer this young team. They're a young contender. Keep your eyes on them. They're going to be a fun team to watch this year. A veteran Warriors team versus a young and upcoming team. I love seeing those kind of matchups.
I was looking at the Cleveland game against the Knicks, and I thought Cleveland was young. Right. Well, Jared Allen wasn't playing and Darius Garland wasn't playing. And I realized, wait, they got Niang and they have Donovan Mitchell and they've got some really good balance over in Cleveland as well. So I think that matchup is going to be a fun one. Always fun going against Tristan Thompson as well. He's like the last remaining piece from that Cleveland Cavaliers team from back in the day when they used to go back and forth with each other. I also want to say this just after hearing Steph. I love that there's like a Goldilocks thing where talking about last year where Klay Thompson says last year was fine, just like it was this year. Draymond says last year was horse. And then Steph goes, there were some pieces that fit back together pretty well. I love that there's some perspective on the team.
There sure is. They are here in the now, the present. They're happy to put last year in the past. They are focused on the now.
They're keeping the main thing. We appreciate you hanging out with us on Dubs Talk Live. Zena, Keita, Dalton Johnson. We'll be back as always, but thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Here we go. Just adding more countries, folks. Cotter's here.
Okay.
Casual. We're out here. Okay. Like this is super cool.
Like a geography class right now.
I literally am like just going across the globe,
like history, like 101 or something. Yeah.
Here we are. Shout out to this. I'm very curious. Jalen Duren is killing it at Detroit. Yeah. Absolutely killing it. Kay Cunningham and Jalen Duren are just like a dynamic duo. They're talking about they were working out in the summer, and the only thing that comes to mind is Wiseman. Mm-hmm. And just like, where does he fit in this puzzle?
He doesn't.
You didn't have to say.
I mean, you asked the question, I answered. Again, I'm not trying to be harsh. I saw James in Summer League. I truly do want like the very, very best for James Wiseman. Yeah. He still has so much talent. It's just trying to find ways for it to work in a team setting, in a system setting. He was a DMP all season until tonight, and he had 3 fouls within his first 2 minutes and went right back to the bench. So he's a guy that you want to root for. You want to see things happen. There should be no animosity from Warriors fans.
Sure.
There's not within the franchise, I can tell you that much. Right. Obviously they love to have Gary back here in Golden State, but they want James to do good. They don't have anything against him. They want him to have a good, long, successful career. Yeah. But right now, it's just taking some time, and it's not looking too bright either because there's a bunch of big men in Detroit that are really
it's a crowded
exciting
roster.
And really good too.
Yeah. What's so beautiful about the NBA right now is that parity is building. And with each draft, with each year, you've got, I mean, you even think about what Kuminga and Moody have been able to do.
It takes time.
It takes time to be able to get them to the level where that parity is created. And it's fun. It's making it fun. And I'm really, really excited for what's about to happen on the road again. I mean, the Warriors, 3-game road streak, like, whoa.
Sound the alarms.
Sound the alarms. Are the bells on? Because, wow. But now we're going to see, can this continue? This was a weird pause for them to come back home in the middle of it, but then go back on the road, and then to do those 3 games leading up to
The big Denver game.
the big Denver game. How do you think the Warriors match up against Denver this year?
It's tough. I mean, I still think that Denver is the best team in basketball. I hate to, when teams come out from a championship, be like, oh, this team's better. No. This is pretty much the same exact team from the championship run before that the Denver Nuggets had. Yes, they lost Bruce Brown, and then you see others step in for him.
Yep.
Such a balanced team. We know all about their big stars. But again, a balanced team, I think, from roster-wise, from balance-wise, that the Warriors are the second best in the West when you look at those two rosters right now. So it's a matchup that I really, really am excited for. Don't jump to conclusions after, you know, whatever it is at the 8th game, the 9th game, something. So again, you need to look at a team after like the first month is when you really should. The first month, the first 20 games. But it's always fun to play one of these top teams early on to set the barometer and try to build off of that, getting better and better.
That's exactly right. It really does kind of set the stage for what a playoff series could look like. What, you know, those games post All-Star break where people are making a run for the playoffs, what those games can look like. And so this will be the first taste of that for the Warriors, really.
Little appetizer?
Little appetizer.
Little hors d'oeuvre.
Just a little hors d'oeuvre, just to wet the palate just a little bit. And, I mean, that's going to wet the palate for the fans as well. The fans have been wanting to see this matchup. They've been seeing the Denver Nuggets do whatever they want. And I think the Denver Nuggets game and then being able to play the Lakers outside of the preseason, of course, but, like, being able to play the Lakers, that's going to be a really big one as well, particularly for the West. Oh, I completely forgot. When are the Clippers coming?
It'll be a little bit. But
It'll be a little while. Yes. But after that big signing, that is a very exciting one to see. Well, anywho, West is going to be very packed this year. It's going to be very exciting. We'll see what the Warriors can do. They've got 4 road games in a row. Can they make another streak? We shall see. Anywho, appreciate you guys hanging out with us on YouTube. Like Vince Vargas said, I can't believe the time has gone by so fast. It was a win, so maybe that's what it was. All right, guys, have a great night.